And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the monastery, the open bar of the internet, the world's greatest shit show, and the place where we, the good brothers and sisters of this most holy of temples, seek enlightenment through the drunkest, craziest, and most batshit ways possible. I am your one and only gaming monk, better known as Mildra, and with me I have 1, 2, 3 good brothers and sisters. Making his return, we do have the man who is not a doctor, but he plays one on TV. Good brother Novell. Oh. We have our resident card game man, good brother Hydra.
Welcome, and thank you for having me.
And returning to my shoulder, we have our good sister Maki. And thank you for...
I am back on the shoulder.
Yes, you are. And thank you, Mike Shell, for the sub. I don't know why only half of the notifications showed up on that front, but I appreciate it. And also, unfortunately, I could have swore I had alerts set up for that. I'll have to look into that later. But I do hope that Mike Shell, by the time he sees this, has invested in better shield discipline. No, I'm not letting that go, Mike. I told you I'm never letting that go.
Seeing a few games from my personal specialization and interest on today's list.
Mm-hmm. So, always happy to be here. Why is it that half the people in the damn monastery are insistent on inflicting puns?
As I'm Batman.
Or are you punching back? Oh, God.
You're just lucky I didn't say because I'm the Punisher.
Also, disclaimer, I have nothing to do with Marvel's Hydra. A, fuck those losers, and B, Disney, don't sue me like you're suing Mid-Journey.
Oh. I think they've got bigger things to worry about. But Mike Shell, you're not my punching bag. You just open yourself up to this kind of thing. And since I've got two people who are new, let me give a bit of context. And Mike Shell, I have to tell the story again. Sorry, but I'm not. A long time ago, I ran a Common Writer theme campaign called Writer the Transformation. And in that, I asked if everyone could come up with... I'd taken suggestions for some sort of unique gimmick with everyone's starting weapons. His idea was a shield with a hidden gun. Second encounter of the campaign, he decides to start throwing the shield and calling it back like he's Captain America. And that, along with several other things, I have refused to let go. And it has been a running gag ever since. Because if I say that I'm not letting go of something, that's not a bluff. So, last week we covered the first 60 entries, and today we're going to be covering the other half of that equation. Normally I don't, as I said before, I don't do that. But because of the fact that there were about 6 or so different games showcases, the majority of them being indie games showcases, I kind of had to finesse the matter. So, with all of that said, the first one we have is a game coming from a French team called Lost in Prayer, and unfortunately, it looks like there are no options for English subs. The only option is auto-generated French subs, but I think we can put two and two together with this project. So, let's get started.
Et vous savez ce qu'il y a de pire que d'être mort? Mourir encore. Encore et encore. J'ai beau tout essayer. Je n'arrive pas à m'échapper de ce purgatoire. Pas même la mort ne peut m'en libérer. À chaque fois, je me crois assez malin pour m'en sortir. J'ai commencé par tout prendre. Les armures les plus dorées, les lames les plus tranchantes. Jusqu'à ce que la cupidité me coûte la vie. Et comme d'habitude, quand je meurs, je prends le contrôle de mon assassin. C'est l'un des rares avantages de ma situation. Me voilà encore. De retour à la case départ. J'apprenais de nouvelles compétences. J'écrasais des tonnes d'ennemis.
Yep.
J'étais le plus fort, le meilleur. Celle-là, c'était la bonne. C'était la victoire. Personne ne pouvait m'arrêter. C'est ce que je croyais. Mais mon orgueil a eu raison de moi. Humilié, j'ai préféré tenter ma chance en enfer. J'ai fait simple, j'ai misé sur l'efficacité. Pas de prétention, ni d'ego. Il fallait juste que je me concentre. Mais alors que j'étais sur le point de m'en sortir, j'ai succombé au plus vieux péché du monde. La luxure.
But like Pope Edition.
Quoi? Tu crois pouvoir faire mieux que moi?
Even though I don't speak French, I was able to get a gist on some things. I think what's interesting here is the emphasis on area control and the fact that ring outs are definitely a thing here. I wonder if they were taking some notes from fights in tight spaces.
Well, I definitely speak French, and I could definitely say, like, when you die, you can possess another motherfucker.
That'll work. But
gameplay reminds me a little bit of Fire Emblem, but that's about. I have very little tactics games experience outside of that and XCOM.
yeah.
So.
And the less said about XCOM RNG, the better. Because RNG just does not save.
Oh, it saves. It just saves your enemies.
But next up is a project I've been following for the last few months. And that is Luminous Nights, which is basically someone wanting to do their own mix of Arabian Nights with Kingdom Hearts 1. And some of the trials and trying to get that to work.
I can definitely see the influence.
I was expecting him to bitch slap the shopkeep with that sword. That was very aggressive walking.
Although it looks like he's not trying to do the same kind of pseudo menu that Kingdom Hearts does. Well, even that title looks like the title you'd see for a KH world.
Yep, I can certainly see that. Quick question that's unrelated to the trailers at hand. If I lower the volume on my end for SyncTube, is that going to mess anybody else's up?
I don't think so. I have it at it's at half volume.
Okay, mine's at full volume, so it won't.
I
do that to
want
me.
Kingdom Hearts. We
Good to
have
know.
Kingdom Hearts at home. Kingdom Hearts at home. Also, volume doesn't influence the other people's volumes.
Good to know.
Yep.
I just wonder, did they also try to duplicate the wretched control scheme for Kingdom Hearts?
It doesn't look
Oh
like
god,
it.
I hope not.
I'm not getting that vibe, especially since it's not trying to do the whole pseudo menu thing. So I don't think you have to worry about that.
Also, I'm not seeing that there's any companions in there, so you don't have to worry about Donald throwing you the wrong kind of healing.
But this is very early in development, so I doubt we're going to be, even though it's channeling KH1, I don't think it's going to be going that close to the letter.
Oh, I can certainly live with it just being inspired by and not like trying to do a direct carbon copy, because I think Kingdom Hearts 1 certainly had potential, but I just have a hard time getting into the future titles after what a pain the first one was.
With a lot of these sort of games that are clearly channeling games that came in the past, very few of them, only a scant handful, are trying to do a one-to-one. Each of them is doing their own spin or doing their own thing to put an identity on it. And a lot of them kind of have to, because a lot of games, like Luminous Night's a one-man project, which is why I'm not expecting a release date or anything like that for quite a while. I only stumbled across it by accident when the guy who's behind it, hit one of his YouTube videos about trying to do aerial combat right, cropped up in my feed. And where he learned that trying to program for the type of aerial combat that even just the first game had is tricky. But moving right along, we have Linked Banner of the Spark, which feels like a bit of base building and a bit of Hades, just with not a confined area like Hades. Also grappling hooks.
When the world is taken over by the evil combots, it'll be up to you to save the future in Linked, Banner of the Spark. With the friendly Unibots by your side, there's nothing you can't handle. So, whenever you're ready, the next adventure is just around the corner. Either solo or with friends, every mission starts with your weapon. Whether you prefer melee, ranged, or a face-melting power chord, there's equipment for every playstyle. And you can always count on the Wire, a handy tool that lets you grab, throw, and rip combat enemies down to the screws.
Throw a motherfucker and another motherfucker.
Pretty
Bring
much.
resources home after every mission.
I guess
Then
that
earn more
combat
by
will be
mining
down to the
and
wire.
fishing.
Hee hee hee.
Strengthen your bonds with friends to unlock new weapons, gear, and abilities. Then, equip a loadout and take your new spark powers for a spin. These special skills will tip the odds in your favor, heal your teammates, distract your enemies, or just straight up knock them out. You can also bring some bot residents into battle to help you rescue their captive friends. Or for maximum impact, call in a Unibot ally to unleash an ultimate attack. The more you play, the more blueprints you'll find for buildings and decor. New additions can unlock tools and upgrades for your next mission. But who says you can't also add some flourishes for fun? Whether it's challenging or chill, make the Resistance your own. Play now.
Chillanging.
Yeah, correct me if I'm mistaken, but didn't that guy had his entire arm chopped off and replaced by the mecha arm?
Game? I haven't played the game yet, so... But next is the first of a handful of major entries on the list. And this one I know was blowing up my feed and probably blowing up some of your guys's. And that is Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. Because Capcom lost out on Marvel and ArcSys got it.
Good competition is always nice.
自由のために戦う。さあ、お手並み拝見といこう。君のことは親友だと思っているが、やるしか
Arc
ないよな。
sliding in to grab Marvel fighter rights wasn't on my bingo list, I admit.
私のアーマーには勝てないぞ。よし、本気でやるぞ。つらい。くらえ。おい、神よ。耐えてみせろ。
任せてちょうだい。パンチ。私の名前の通り、マーベラス。
The art team clearly understood the assignment.
今日もお見事大勝利。俺とやり合うってか。調子が出てきたぜ。俺様の名はスターロード。胸に刻んでおきだ。覚悟しやがれ。シュートベルト。
Marvel is perfect for them too. Arc knows a lot how to make each character feel distinct.
I'm a big fan of Ghost Rider, so I had to point out that that's not Johnny Blaze, that's Robbie Reyes. And of course, Doom is, well, Doom.
Come on, you can't have one of the best villains in
Yeah.
all of Marvel. Yeah.
Johnny is Vine. Robbie is Carl.
たとえ人々に嫌われていても、私は世界を守る。さあ、耐えられるかしら。
They cooked with Storm's design.
It's definitely reminiscent of the Burn era. And if you're dealing with 90s Marvel history, John Byrne and Chris Claremont are going to be names you see a lot.
For damn good reason.
正義のためにこれが私のとっておきだこっちだよ全てをやっ尽くす抱かれなさい
The Tokusatsu inspired Iron
我
Man
々の
hits
チーム
hard.
ワークは絶対に破れないマーベル闘魂ファイティングソウルズ
Pretty much. I mean, a guy like Tony would try and make something like that. That, and there was that whole thing with the Marvel Mangaverse where he made a full mech. But Marvel Mangaverse was weird. On the other hand, I appreciate its weirdness simply because it understood that it understood how to have fun. I've mentioned this elsewhere, Maki, but the attempt that collab with Marvel and Madhouse Studios was a massive disappointment. Mostly because
Kind of was, yeah.
the problem was it kind of played things straight compared to what they were teasing. Like the Wolverine teaser that I remember seeing at Comic-Con showcased Wolverine by way of Kawajiri, essentially Wolverine by way of Ninja Scroll, which I'm perfectly fine with. I mean, one of the most famous arcs with Wolverine is the Japan saga, so why not go that? Why not have the guy behind Ninja Scroll do something in his style with Wolverine? And the Iron Man teaser had Iron Man, but with the camera work you'd see out of a Itano piece. The famous Itano circus. And that was what I thought we were getting with the Marvel Madhouse project. Visual techniques that are seen in anime just using Marvel characters. What we got was just a set of Marvel stories animated by Madhouse, which I think kind of missed the point.
They pretty much just took Marvel and tried to put an anime coat of pin on it rather than recognizing the key differences between both Western and Eastern style of entertainment.
There wasn't an anime coat of paint on it. It was just played straight like any like the direct to DVD stuff that Madhouse was already doing for Marvel and DC. I mean, animation was certainly well done. I mean, it's Madhouse. Madhouse does not miss. But at the very least, the Mangaverse decided to play around with motifs of anime. It was a little bit on the nose at times, but the heart was in the right place. So if doing Iron Man by way of a Mazinger Z style mecha, I'm far more willing to go with that.
And the irony is that when I saw this trailer when it was first announced, and everyone was comparing the Tony Stark with a Gundam rather than Mazinger. Fucking plebs.
I'm referring to the Mangaverse thing with this suit. I can see where people would think of Gundam because of the visor. Though I am far more in line to think of Kamen Rider Fox.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
It doesn't exactly help that it looks like its ult is the Hulkbuster armor, just with extra steps. Yeah, let's give the Hulk.
It shows that they were given green light on doing whatever they want in terms of stylistics and designs.
Pretty much.
I'm kind of excited to see what they will do with a few characters that might be coming out.
Oh. I will laugh my ass off if they end up getting the proper Miss Marvel and put her in something akin to the classic suit from the 2000s. That probably won't happen, but it would be the funniest thing ever if it did.
Honestly, to be perfectly honest, I'd much rather see Doc Ock in a game like this. The sheer shenanigans you can unleash with him would be massive.
There have been some pushback about the idea of 4v4, as opposed to doing 3v3. But but that's a wait and see kind of thing. I'm not going to judge it just based on that alone because I still don't know how the mechanics are going to work. And when it comes to ArcSys, each game that they do in the 2D fighter end of things does different things. Like you can't put a Guilty Gear player in front of DNF Duel and expect the same results.
Until you play it, you cannot judge it.
Or at the very least until I get enough footage to study. But next up is Mycelia, Echoes of the Past, which this is another one that is coming to us from France. I do like the kind of cell shading we've got with this project. And
Neat stylistic.
for whatever reason, it reminds me of Mobius.
Definitely easy on the eyes.
Or just some of the stranger biomes that Mobius would do in his work. So this is trying
The
to be
Ball of Doom.
if this is trying to be a 3D Metroidvania, I do wonder what sort of upgrades are going to be involved. And I have a feeling those 3 spheres on the character's back, that's supposed to be health. So, overall, a promising idea.
Early 2016, and that's what it says.
Yep. Also,
It
welcome back.
looks cute.
Yep. Also, welcome back, Doc.
Hello.
Hello. But
Yeah.
what we have next is a bit of indulgence on my end, and that is the Delta version for the opening for Metal Gear Solid. Not Delta version. What am I saying? The opening movie for Metal Gear Solid Delta. Basically, the remake of Snake Eater. And they even got the vocalist to re-record the song.
What a thrill with darkness and silence through the night. What a thrill. I'm searching and I'll melt into you. What a fear in my heart, but you're so supreme. I give my life, not for honor, but for you.
Oh yes, doing a Halo jump, which oddly is on one of my bucket lists.
Man, that brings memories. Played the original game when it came out.
Someday you go through the rain, and someday you'll feed on a tree frog. This ordeal, the trial to survive. For the day we see new life, I give my life, not for all
Would you say that it looks pretty good?
Oh, absolutely. Like, everything I've seen of this is seeming like it's everything a remake should be.
Yeah, I just had to make the "you're pretty good" gag.
Oh, I get it now. Derp. Nah.
The only problem I have with it so far is they somehow managed to make Ocelot into that handsome guy meme. With a weird ass cut.
Well, Ocelot was always kind of weird, and it could only get weirder.
Paramedic, what's with this guy?
Also, would you say that the weird cut gives him no tactical advantage whatsoever?
Arguably. That answer kept you waiting, huh?
But next is actually a new project from Yacht Club Games, of all people. Mina
Great.
the Hollower.
So what does it taste like?
What is she hollowing exactly?
I don't know, but
I guess we'll see.
don't you dare go hollow. I guess they wanted to, I guess after what they've done in the past.
I would not find it in my dark soul to joke about that.
How appropriate that it's launching at the end of October. But I suppose after a while they wanted to do Link's Awakening on steroids. That's the vibe I get out of this.
I mean, it makes sense.
Pennsylvania.
Because, their last one, Shovel Knight, that was kind of a Mario-like. This one seems to be a Zelda-like, so...
There was also Cyber Shadow that they published, which was a Ninja Gaiden-like. For better and for worse. When I say...
Look, I'm entirely okay with them doing some new spins and stuff on older games like that. This looks fun.
And hello there, Monarch.
It's been so long since I've been to one of these.
Oh yeah. Let me just add you in. I'm not putting you on your shoulder. That room is reserved for Maki. We're gonna have to relook how I do the format because it's getting a little bit corrupted. But I will manage. So the next project was one that was showcased at the OTK Games Expo, known as Morgenstern, which feels like a, I guess, medieval extraction.
Let's go, soldiers.
There is no place for suckers. Join the army and fight with us.
Wait, you play as a pig?
And you beat up
I
the
guess
monster
extraction
with the
games
power of
actually
bacon.
came to some level of interest in recent days. A sort of sleeper genre.
You got a skinny girl that wielding probably a sword bigger and heavier than her.
I mean, those are the best kinds of weapons.
I mean, if they can do it in Monster Hunter.
Fair point.
But last time around, we covered that we were getting a sequel to Code Vein. That's not the only Souls-like that's getting a sequel, because now Mortal Shell is coming back.
You think you're the Harbinger. You might be.
A very black metal look we've got going on, so of course they get a Behemoth song to go with it.
They know naught of your nature. You're a weapon, child.
Whoever's handling the executions understood the assignment.
Don't stab the penis snake. It didn't do anything to you yet.
Feels very much, what if Dark Souls had Doom 2016's glory kills?
Till you fail. Then what?
You're no god. But neither have they.
I guess that guy who got slashed in the face got ahead of himself because he was all head.
There's a part of me that wonders if somebody in the Immortal Shell art team is a fan of Wayne Barlow.
I'm not familiar at all with first Mortal Shell, but it has me interested at least.
Mm-hmm.
The visuals are great.
Yep. So, next is another one that was at the OTK Expo. A very variety kind of game with a heavy amount of cyberpunk known as Neo Junk City, which sounds so much like a action movie from the 80s with that name. If only because Black Pants Legion somehow memed their way into making a fake movie with real merchandise known as Knife Fight City. It started as a meme, and then some fake merch people thought it was a real movie and made counterfeit merch off of it. The movie does not exist.
I mean, maybe it should now.
Hey, sometimes you just have to gaslight reality into people knowing a movie. When it doesn't exist.
So we have a little bit of Outrun, a little bit of adventure game. A bit of Time Crisis, I guess. And I can't be the only one who looks at this blaster called the Judge and sees the lawgiver from Judge Dredd.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Bullshit.
I never watched him, so giant rock.
There's
wherever.
so much inspiration from all sorts of places here.
And a bit of Friday Night Funkin' as well. Why not?
Given how many times the gameplay seems to switch up, I wouldn't be surprised if it took some inspiration.
Damn, this
from
game is so ass.
WarioWare.
So much ass.
But next is the project that I feel like was taking some notes from the Banner Saga. That being Never's End. I did see this a few times during Turn-Based Thursday.
Like, I'm always down for more SRPGs with some interesting gimmicks like this.
Yeah,
This looks fun.
having gimmicks almost like a puzzle game.
Oh, look, it's the Glue Mans. But not quite. Interesting.
So, next up is two major and not major bits from Koei Tecmo. The first of which being the release date trailer for Ninja Gaiden 4.
Watch your back, Yakumo. You're a wanted criminal now.
I'll kill the Dark Dragon myself. It's my mission. My duty
Oh,
as a
hello,
Raven
tits.
Ninja.
Breaking the Dark Dragon free has its consequences.
Can't help but notice one little thing, and that's the fact that they've dialed the camera back for. It might be because it's a collab with Team Ninja and Platinum, but it also means there's slightly less chance of getting off-screen, like there was, especially in 2, or in the vanilla version of 2, which was Itagaki's call. I think it was a net positive when Itagaki ran out of Team Ninja. Because what has he done since, aside from The Devil's Third, which was so bad Nintendo tried to quash it?
We love a magical lady with a cleavage bigger than my self-confidence
This
issues.
is it.
But yeah, the camera angle seems nice for the fast speed gameplay.
Ryu, there's something I need your help with.
as well find the shark now.
We have truly jumped the shark.
The Dark Dragon is mine.
The corny voice acting is mine.
It does seem like Yakumo is going to be using more heavy weapons. And his weapon of choice in this was a giant drill. One that would... Well, where's Brother John when I need him?
Pierce the heavens, yes, yes.
Play it day one with Game Pass.
But the other major announcement with Koei Tecmo was the teaser for Neo 3.
Spirit stones. Shining stones imbued with humankind's never-ending dreams. Since time immemorial, this power has been the impetus for human wars.
Such an ominous atmosphere, and one thick with the presence of Aratama.
It's one hell of a glad-filled smile. Or is that supposed to be
What makes a
Orochi?
shogun? Here is my answer.
I see we're doing mode switching this time.
I want to be ninja. I want to be ninja.
How foolish of you to have entered the depths of hell.
1001 ways of eating shit to these bosses, the trailer.
Who might you be, warrior?
Tokugawa. Takechio.
Interesting setup we got here. It is kind of funny looking at how the Neo games have evolved. Like the first one very much felt like it was trying to be something like Bloodborne. 2 still had that to an extent, but was leaning off of it. And I feel like with 3, they're completely getting off of that, getting off of the Soulsborne-esque wagon.
I only
Well, it
played
felt
the
more
first one.
actiony.
It was good. I'm glad they're still doing stuff with this franchise.
Mhm. But next up is a project that I remember discovering about 2 years ago. Then I didn't hear a whole lot, and now it's back in the conversation, known as Nocturne. A rhythm RPG.
Daddy.
See myself playing this on Expert.
I don't see it as a plan at all.
This game looks simultaneously really good and like something I will never ever play because I suck at these kinds of things.
I've never been a rhythm guy, but I really like that visual style. This
That being
game
said, there is a
looks-
demo, so I suppose I could try the demo, see how I do. There is an easy mode at least.
I am a rhythm game player myself. Could give it a shot.
No, I doubt you try and go for a no miss run the first time.
Oh no. I'd be happy if I just go through and manage to not die a million times. As long as I'm dying less than I do in Dark Souls, I'm good.
I see that, and I raise you one of as long as I'm dying less than I do, and I want to be the guy.
Never played it.
Don't. It is pain. It is where any idea that you are good at platformers goes to die. And well, you've seen a Mario ROM hack at least once, right? A Kaizo ROM hack.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's on that level.
Boy, that brings back memories, and not good ones.
Look, I knew that kind of thing was going to come back as soon as Mario Maker became a thing, and I was right. I often am, and yet people are always surprised by it. And hello there, Vanguard. Welcome to the shit show. But next is a project that was showcased at Tiny Build Connect, and one that I feel is going to be a more approachable Gothic. Maybe for those who were burned by Dragon Age, they might get something out of this. Of Ash and Steel.
My name is Tristan, a cartographer from the capital who suddenly found himself way too far from home. My job brought me to Greyshaft, one of the islands of our kingdom. Greyshaft is beautiful, that much is certain. The island's thick forests hold many secrets. The Prime Strider's ruins await those who dare to hear the echoes of the past. And treasure might be buried just under your feet. Just don't get lost. And if you do, keep walking until you see a clearing, or a field of crops, or a creek where the villagers argue if they should go looking for someone who hasn't returned from the moors. A part of the island is covered in frost at any time of the year, and even the ancient volcano can't break the shackles of winter. Some Greyshaftians treat the island as a living being. They warn against waking it up when it falls asleep. Those who work from dawn to dusk rush to the safety of their homes before the creatures of the dark come out. Plenty of dangers await within the city walls too. Dangers that are hard to avoid even in broad daylight. The weather here is as capricious as life itself. A soothing breeze may grow into a squall, drowning the island in lashing rain. Even now, I can feel the storm coming.
This gives me
You must
Gothic
never lower
/
your
Fable
guard on
feelings.
Greyshaft. The beasts are bloodthirsty.
But since Peter
the
Molyneux's not
monsters are
involved, it's
ruthless,
better.
and scavengers are fighting for every piece of meat on a bone. And have you seen the local bugs? Cursed abominations. Even though
I mean, I'm obviously still 13 inside because every time I hear Greyshaft, I'm laughing.
Greyshaftians are quick to judge, and their judgment
It's like
is
they've
stiff.
included the own porn parody
Think
name
before
in it.
saying anything.
That is a fair argument, but let me remind you once again that you're the one who inflicted Beaver Dick Park on the rest of us.
That's
Hey, I
like a
didn't name it.
conversation I don't want context for.
It's the name of a park. It was named after a guy. His nickname was basically Beaver Dick.
Honestly, with a town named Moosehead today, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
And think twice before doing anything. I will have to be careful. Even the slightest mishap may lead to grave consequences.
Park, Vanguard, park. Not path.
I hope that there still are some decent people here. The whole island can't be populated with bandits only, can it? I could join the Order of the Seven. The knights seem noble and skilled in battle. I also heard rumors about the Free Hunters. A group of brave men who bow before no one and believe in justice for all. And it's just a couple of many different factions vying for power in here. You never know who you'll meet next. This new world is tempting, and this temptation is hard to resist. Greyshaft may not look too inviting, but it warms up to those with a brave heart and a curious mind. Everyone finds their share of discoveries here, and only the one knows what his island has in store for me.
I've also seen comparisons between this and Greedfall, and I can see it, but I'd need to get some more time to see if that's surface level or not.
Looks intriguing, but I just have absolutely no idea what the gameplay is supposed to be based on this trailer.
But next up, we have something more akin to gameplay when it comes to Onimusha Way of the Sword, along with a rival, which you'll see in a moment.
This isn't hell. Or my world. What is this place? Also, you don't have a chance.
It looks like even in this Onimusha, we're still getting the magic weapons set up.
So far, from all the trailers I've seen of this game, the main character has a decent amount of personality.
Musashi! We both want the same thing, Musashi. But there's only room for one at the top. And it won't be a coward who runs from jewels. Words never did work between us, did they?
Sasaki Ganyu.
That's the name we're going with. We already have Musashi. So I suppose having his rival that doesn't actually exist is key. But using Ganryu as the last name is certainly a move.
It's a choice.
It's about as much of a choice as that one time that Antonio Inoki decided to hold a wrestling match at Dragon Island. Although at the very least, it looks like Sasaki here is only using one large sword. I couldn't tell if it was an Odachi or not from the footage. But next up is something I could see myself playing as in a bit of a chill mode. That being Paper Sky. Or what we all fantasized doing when it came to paper airplanes.
There's a choice to swap into the art styles.
Very rails-based platformer, but I can dig it. It seemed like you go between a paper airplane, a ball of paper, and a paper boat. Which I'm perfectly fine with.
A bit of a journey feeling to it.
I could see it. But next is Pathbreaker's Roaming Blades, which is made by the same team that did Fellseal, which, if someone wants a Ogre Battle successor, that's definitely up there. Though with Pathbreakers, it looks like they have embraced the superiority of hexagons.
We love hexagons. Look out, it's the British.
But I guess Pathbreakers is doing a mercenary company sim. That's... I am here for it.
I really don't know why more of these games don't use a hex grid.
Probably because of habit.
Because they want to be special and not like the other girls.
But the next one, Poem Ex Machina, this is a gameplay compilation of it. I either had that or a teaser. I best can describe as what would happen if Jet Set Radio had a baby with Persona. Hang on, I did that whole skip thing that I... Persona 3 especially. I think I might be thinking Persona 3 because of all of the blue.
I can see it being fun.
But the next one is the only entry in here that's using the GZ Doom engine. Project Amica, which feels like if Mega Man Legends / Rockman Dash, for those who want to be pedantic, and Doom had a baby.
That sounds entertaining.
And even if it didn't say that this was using GZ Doom, I could already tell it was. But in all fairness, there's been a lot of really good games that are powered by GZ Doom, especially the black magic that is Sulaco. But given the map size, maybe they were taking some cues from Strife as well. Which is also pretty damn good.
Oh
Alright,
man,
this actually looks rather
I guess
interesting.
there
I
will be
might
an
give it a
elephant in the
try.
room to address here too.
Ha.
He he he.
Ha. Swear, I'm not sure. I'm trying to figure out who's worse when it comes to puns. You or all?
Thing we're missing now is one of the enemies having a Zaku head.
We've got the Zaku Eye. That's as far as we're getting. But next is one of the bigger ones that I've been showcasing, and I interviewed the devs a few years ago when it was very early in development. And that being Quartet, which it's clear that they were taking some cues from the Saga games. It is somehow apropos that the tank in this party is a hippo.
Their last game, Shadows of Adam, was pretty good. So I've been keeping an eye on Quartet. That looks so ridiculous. I love it. A hippo climbing a rope.
You know, if the hippo wants to climb a rope, I say let him, because I don't want to get on its bad side.
Something's up. It's not showing up on my end.
What? It's just not playing, or what's going on?
I'm still on the. I'm still on Anima for some reason.
Did you load up the room from last week, or the room I just posted?
That's the thing. I wasn't here last week.
Are you because
I meant the Project Amica, not the Anima today.
Yeah, don't throw me off like that.
My bad.
But yeah, as the saying goes, refresh before bitching.
That's a saying?
Yes.
It is now. He just said.
All right, I'm good now.
So I'm not sure what happened on your end, but continuing on. Hello there, Kira. I see you in the chat. On August 26th. I'll consider that a late birthday present for me. Oh.
Nice to see we have a date on this now.
Mm-hmm. And
feel obligated to point out for Zan's sake that GOG is hosting this game as well.
Yeah, and I mean, it was inevitable that they would. So available on most of the PC platforms on August 26th, and then Switch and PS5, as well as PS4, probably late 2025. I know which one I'm going with. But next, I guess, is a mix. Is what would happen if you gave tower defense to the Age of Empires people in the form of Realms of Madness.
In order to get gold, we need to build a treasury, sire.
The voice of that advisor is immediately making me think of Stronghold.
Attacking!
How do you manage to speak in a way that makes me think you are missing a comma?
In the fracture in the firmament.
Carefully. But hey, this might have better siege battles than Total War. Not that that's hard. Also, why would you build your castle in a place next to liquid hot magma?
Well, clearly it's because they're using the magma as some kind of power source. Duh.
Potentially.
Yeah, and then don't search for logic when there ain't none. It's called Realm of Madness, not Realm of Logic.
I was kidding.
We love having a voice acting budget of a tuna sandwich and hey John. Come make a creepy undead voice, but like in a grandpa with an asthma sort of cadence.
Hey,
Next is Revival Recolonization, which is very much a 4X, but one that gives me more of a vibe of not so much Civilization, but more the Endless series, which I'm fine with. I really love the Endless series.
It is endlessly entertaining.
It also looks like we have some degree of terraforming. Although maybe I could also say this is what Civilization Beyond Earth was supposed to be.
Look, as much as I suck at these games, I'm sold already. This looks interesting.
Finally, we get to commit war crimes on a galactic scale.
But next is Riftstorm. This was another one at OTK Games Expo. And this already has my attention because Twin Stick Shooty is my catnip. Also, it looks like elemental damage is literal elements.
Nice.
I fucks with it.
Hey there, Coops.
Took a while, but I finally made it.
Congratulations, Monarch. You're no longer the winner of the Doku Challenge.
Yeah.
Let me move you over here. Oh god, we got a bit of bullet hell too.
Okay, not gonna lie, I'm really digging this. I might actually put this on my list.
Excellent work.
See, I've never liked bullet hell on its own, but you mix bullet hell with something else.
In this case,
I'm
twin stick.
generally in.
Given the mechanics, I have one thing to say. Elemental damage!
But next up is Rogue Eclipse, which still has its demo out. In a roundabout way, this reminds me of Strike Suit Zero. As tempting as it would be to channel Star Fox with this, it's too open.
Makes me think of the space battles in No Man's Sky to some degree.
Oh, it's not.
I'm just thinking Gradius, but the fully 3D.
I'm not seeing Gradius in this. There is no power-up drops. But like I said, Rogue Eclipse, the demo is still out there. I may end up visiting it soon. But next is more bullet hell in a sense, though not in that kind of way. Just a lot of energy bullets with Scar-led Salvation.
Who am I?
If you want, I can give you support.
Testing ground for weapons, and it's been closed down. Why am I in a place like this?
That's what I want to know.
It can't be.
Especially what kind of traps. We should be careful.
Hey, where am I?
Shall we go? I'll guide you.
Yeah, I'm counting on you.
Perhaps this is a good opportunity. It is better to light one's candle than curse the darkness, you could say.
Huh? You're an AI, but you're using such complicated expressions.
The contactor bioweapon is as powerful as expected.
Mocking me again. I'm going to get out of here. I swear it!
The outcomes of war aren't quite that simple.
Wait, you didn't think to tell me?
Like I said, a whole lot of bullets.
She's cute.
Yep. But next up is another entry from Owlcat of all people. They're apparently pulling double duty. They're already working on Dark Heresy, and now they're also working on an Expanse game. But actually, before that, I forgot Scaravan 66. So we'll get to the Expanse in a bit, but I had scrolled at the wrong spot. Scaravan, someone was taking their notes from Spy Hunter. And maybe Wacky Races. So maybe a little bit of road rash as well. Just on a 50s car instead of a bike. vampire Elvis wannabe. Because of course.
Wouldn't be the first time a game had something like that.
I love it when my diner owner slaps her own face onto a road sign leading to her establishment.
Wish list now.
Yeah, so just a standard Midwestern road. The only thing missing is Large Marge. Give it a week.
Give it a few days.
Yeah. But following that, we are getting a follow-up to the Scott Pilgrim game that was better than the movie it was trying to promote, and better than the follow-up series, because Takes Off was shit. And that is Scott Pilgrim EX.
Toronto, the city that never won a cup.
Oh, they won a cup almost 60 years ago.
Then most of us weren't even alive.
Yes, Anamanaguchi!
River City, Toronto?
The only thing missing is effectively roads filled with cars because Toronto is always filled with them.
Yeah. But next up is a platformer that seems to very much be channeling platformers from the PS2 era. And I am here for it with Scratch the Cat.
That's why it's called Scratch the Cat.
Oh yeah. And hello there, Hex. Welcome to the shit show.
Giving me some good Ratchet and Clank vibes. I'm always down for that.
We don't have any crazy ass guns yet, but I can see it.
Well, more in terms of the fact that gameplay, aside from the lack of guns, seems similar. It looked more like that than, say, Jak and Daxter.
I could see it.
And it might just be the fact that Ratchet is vaguely cat-like.
Mm-hmm. But next up is a project that I happened to come across by accident. Sengoku Baccarat. And hey, it's a form of card dueling I can get behind.
The basic idea seems inspired by Slay the Spire.
I could see that to an extent, just with far more of a playing card emphasis. Which, when I see card mechanics
With playing
in games,
card rolling in terms of a bit of a randomization.
Though the way they have it set up, it's almost a bit of a way to say maybe you should go on the offense or maybe play it safe this round. But next is Shade Protocol. Which you would think I'd have enough of Metroidvanias. You would be wrong.
You see, I can never get into the Metroid and Castlevania, but all the stuff that came after, a lot of it I dig.
Honestly, it seems a little bit closer to Mega Man Zero than Castlevania.
I do
I don't
like
know about
those.
Zero, but there are kind of X vibes I'm getting from it.
Well, the
Which I'm
Zero
down.
comes from the art style,
Oh,
really.
Well, we already got one Mega Man Zero like earlier this year with Berserk Boy, which is really good, by the way.
I am digging the animation vibes.
Those are some pretty smooth pixels as well.
A lot of effort was put into animating the characters.
Of course, they had to get the Captain America shield broken.
Well, Mike Shell didn't design the game, so of course it's used properly. But next we have a bit more gameplay footage for the one game that's been on the list that has to be a fever dream. This had to have been made by somebody on something. Because Shadow Labyrinth can be best described as a Metroidvania meets Pac-Man.
Two words I never thought I'd hear put together, yet here we are.
An example of these people are out of line, but I'm gonna let them cook.
On the plus side, they're able to have a little bit of fun experimenting with a Pac-Man labyrinth.
I'll go for just before my birthday.
Apparently, this was done as a
I'd like some of the good stuff the developers are on.
Apparently, this was done as some sort of cross promotion with the Secret Level anthology. But I think somebody was taking some kind of pills, not the kinds I can legally talk about either.
Secret level. Secret level.
But next up is Shadows of Chroma Tower, which is very much giving me vibes of Kingsfield, though a bit faster paced. A bit. I also think whoever was handling the art design was taking some notes from Mike Mignola, especially with that.
I was
use
about
of-
to say, I don't think stabbing a skeleton will do much, but I was proven incurrent immediately after.
This is the reason why you bring a hammer or a mace. Although maybe stabbing a skeleton is in that vein of a brick can fly if you throw it hard enough.
The
But
ships
That
hung in
would bring
midair
a
much in the
smashing
same way that
success.
bricks don't.
He 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 he.
You know, I'm starting to think if maybe I should set up a pun jar. Except if I did it and I have both Maki and Alm and Zan in the same call, it's gonna be full up in about 10 minutes. Maybe
Are you
less.
worried it's going to break your machine?
No. But next up is Shuten Order, which, Coops, I know this was in your feed.
Oh, you already know.
何なのこの状況思い出せないなんで頭の中が真っ黒に塗りつぶされたみたいに何も
思い出せないの？あなたが死んじゃったことも？
君は神の力によって命の猶予を与えられたんだよ。神の試練をクリアすれば君は本来の君として復活し記憶も元に戻るだろう。
神の試練って何をすればいいんですか？
じゃあ姫がズバリ教えてあげる。レイちゃんを殺した犯人に罪の告白をさせるのよ。
手っ取り早く結論を出そう。この中に教祖を殺した犯人がいる？
Which game is Shuten Order?
完全犯罪を成し遂げてるさ。犯人探しの余地さえ与えずにね。
教祖不在の今こそ俺たちがきっちりしなきゃなんねえだろ。俺たちの今があるのは教祖のおかげだ。
つまりここにいる幹部全員が最重要容疑者なんだよ。
You know, with that one from earlier, would it be a case of breaking the fifth wall if VTubers end up playing a game with a pseudo VTuber in it?
It'd be like a VTuber playing a game with a VTuber in it.
I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
So I should play the game.
Correct.
I just hope the gameplay turns out to be better than Rain Code.
この中の誰かなら教祖様の隙をつくことも容易かと。
何首相な面装ってんだ。おめえはどうせ空いた教祖の席を狙ってんだろ。
あなたに与えられた神の試練は自分を殺した犯人を探し出してそいつに罪を告白させること。
そして君を殺した犯人を殺すんだ。
Kodaka just can't stop cooking.
Right around the same time this was announced, Kodaka also announced that he has no plans on porting the 100 line over to any consoles, apparently due to financial reasons. I think they're recouping because Tribe 9 did not pan out. I mean, that thing's all but dead.
Tragic.
It is in fact dead.
But the next one that we have, I can best describe as Samurai Miami, except without those fucking doors in Hotline Miami.
I think the other company who partnered up with Kodaka's studio fucked up big time.
Yeah, I'd imagine they're doing an apology tour. But moving right along to Sick Samurai. I defy anyone to try and say that 5 times fast.
6 samurai, 6 samurai, 6 samurai, 6 samurai, 6 samurai.
That's the incorrect answer. The correct answer is that 5 times fast.
Or the correct answer could be that.
Good for you. You're wrong. Anyway.
So, how do you like your new mask and sword?
Hi, Steve Bloom.
Hi, Steve Bloom.
Hi, Steve Bloom.
Whatever you do, just be sure it's 'cause you wanna do it.
Well, this is the closest we'll get to anything channeling Samurai Champloo. R.I.P. Nujabes.
Hey.
So I wonder if you can pet the dog.
The next on the list is the Victorian anime women, drifting horses and shooting a random citizen in the streets because they are Sues.
Yeah. That being Silver Palace, which I will admit I do have a soft spot for this style of Art Deco the game's going for. In my opinion, Art Deco, as far as visual styles, is very underrated.
Very underrepresented, too.
幸好这里的租金不贵，不然搬起家来又是一笔开销。
I think the last major game I can think of that used an Art Deco approach was Skullgirls.
I don't know, does Batman Arkham Knight count?
I think within the gacha space in general, this type of stylistic is practically unheard of.
看来这也并不是黄金地段嘛。
I'm a bit iffy about having your health and energy like that on the UI on the bottom there. But that is a personal pet peeve kind of thing.
I have a lot of appreciation for how vibrant and alive both the models and the surroundings look.
Yeah, definitely.
There's something really nice in adding that touch of shading and color to make everything pop.
Shading is one of those
look good too.
Is one of those things in visual design that is horribly underrated. It's part of I think that's part of the reason Madhouse is able to make things look good as they do, because they understand shading.
将毫不关联的碎片串联在一起的，是逻辑，亦或是狂想和阴谋？
Fascinating.
靠你了，小马，
I
快点跑
tried
吧
to。play these open world games, but they're just not for me. They're real-time sims, and especially if you tend to be a bit of a free-to-play player.
Always leaves the door open that one game in a given genre, even if it's a genre I usually don't play. That's surprising.
逮到你了，速战速决。
At least she knows how to fan the hammer.
I think it depends on how much they tie the gacha system into the game. I've seen games like Wuthering Waves be entirely parsable with your protagonist character, which you unlock by default.
所谓死无对证，
Considering they are showcasing this character, she is the protagonist, meaning it will be entirely okay to focus on her as a unit.
So we have grappling hooks and we have a sky hook. But most action games can always be made better with a grappling hook.
Not wrong.
Put down the kitty.
He did nothing wrong.
So it's not just a metal horse, it's a metal
俯瞰
Pegasus.
城市全景有助于思考，哪个角落还有我没注意到的细节？
Is it it kind of makes me think a bit crystal as well.
Possibly. Though if it's a Pegasus, don't ask don't ask about its parents.
Ah, 又要在晚上查案了。
I'll say aesthetically, this definitely looks like the kind of game I would be interested in if I didn't have such a heavy aversion to gacha. I mean, I'd probably give it a shot either way.
I cannot say no to a bar like that.
Ooh.
In my defense, I spent a lot of my life around jazz clubs.
Sounds like a speakeasy almost.
Huh?
Okay, I do have to admit, one of my pet peeves in game design is when they have characters utter stock phrases instead of what's actually in the subtitles. Fine when it's in another language that I don't speak, but when it's in English, it just never sounds right.
I look at that as a consequence of focusing where they're going to do voice acting and where not. And I guess we have an interrogation system as well in this.
We are playing an actual detective.
That we most certainly are.
There's the spin to win.
And of course, our doctor is using an oversized scalpel.
找到热点，第七
Yeah,
指
that
示。
tracks.
采取强制措施。
You will take your medicine.
Yay, drugs.
But how am I supposed to take it in the mouth or in the other hole?
结束了。
Good news! It's a
Well,
suppository.
considering she's got a syringe, she can just make a new hole. Literally.
How wholesome.
Wow.
我已经付出了高昂的代价，现在该
Oh
你
look!
来
Looks like Cinderella's pissed that that she saw the script for her Disney Plus remake.
Are we making Cinderella again?
No, I just had to make that joke because look at that
You are
image.
joking.
Yeah. That's,
But that's her
the
actual
fucking
name.
Carrot. That's Fairy Godmother carriage.
Cinderella.
东看西看的，
I mean,
Either that or the fairy godmother decided to go edgy.
This is Cinderella with a fucking machine gun.
yeah.
Pretty much.
Did you say edgy or edgy?
给我求饶！
Both.
Probably both.
Yes.
Even having glass slippers.
Oh yeah!
Correct me if I'm mistaken, but this game showcases herring mechanics.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man, I might actually have to give that one a try.
But next up is a bit of a heist game that somebody was clearly taking some cues from Lupin. Snap and grab.
Give Wuthering Waves a try too. Kuro games are gods of gameplay in terms of their niche of gaming. Tons of parrying and dodging.
Yeah, this is definitely.
Why would you want to steal the doggos?
Right?
I know why. Because they're cat burglars.
Boo.
I miss everything before cat burglars, so I don't know the pun, but I still hate it.
But even though it's
also that domain name.
Yeah. And hello there, Flutter. I see you snuck in.
Yeah.
Let me Let me make sure to add you onto the thing. Jeez, we haven't had this full of a party in a while.
Oh no. But considering how long the list is.
But yeah, snap and grab feel between this and Monaco 2, I like that we're getting more more heist games.
So do I.
But next up, this was the last major entry from the Warhammer Skulls event. And we already got the fact that Dawn of War is coming back in a big way. So we may as well do a cleaned up version of Space Marine. And hopefully bring the multiplayer back with it. Yes, Captain Titus, the harbinger of making people aware that Ultramarines don't have to be Mary Sues.
Or Gary Stu, yeah.
But I am finished with you.
And yep, already out. I haven't checked if the multiplayer has come back because, well, one of the big gimmicks they added to multiplayer post-release was the ability to play as a Dreadnought.
Huh.
But next up is Successor. Thankfully, nothing to do with the TV show.
That's Succession.
I dread the thought.
Successor was made by the same team that did Wartile, which is really good. And once again, all hail Hex superiority. Though, it seems like instead of doing a turn-based affair, they're doing real-time with pause.
Huh.
Which is certainly a move.
It is.
See, we're giving people the polar bear plunge. One little detail that I do like is that it looks like the bases on the minis here also act as that unit's health. It's a nice little touch.
Oh, yeah.
Next is Sword of Justice. Because I will not say no to more wuxia games.
Loving the music here.
I feel like Ironclad is going to be playing to my gimmick.
Brain rot.
It's certainly going to be worth looking into some more, though obviously it's still pretty early on. I mean, this was their announcement trailer. But
yeah, I kind of need to see gameplay, honestly.
Yep. But next is Stidless, which feels like what would happen if somebody mixed Breakout with an FPS.
Ooh.
We gotta step it up though. So have a good night. Oh.
Nope. No worries, man. Stay frosty.
You as well.
Okay, yeah, I can definitely see the breaker curse. Especially that you just throw a ball.
But who's got the biggest balls of them all?
Oh yeah, the fact that you can hit multiple enemies with it as it ricochets.
It also means that I'd imagine most of the maps are going to be confined so that you can get the most out of the bounce.
Yeah.
But fortunately, there's no friendly fire.
Thank God.
But next up is one project that is I've been following for a while and is definitely channeling Final Fantasy Tactics. And that is Tactics Returners. And I've been following updates on this project for at least a year.
See. Yeah, I can definitely see the tactics inspiration. Especially with those designs.
I do wonder how the whole burst starts thing is going to work.
In here.
But not too bad.
Oh, not at all.
This was also showcased at the IndieQuest event. You know, the one that I did an interview with earlier in the month. Sorry, I had to check something. But next is a case of a survival game I might actually look into, and it's technically already out. That being The Alters, where Weird Al's I Think I'm a Clone was playing in my head, and you'll see why.
I know our odds. Maybe it's time to consider the easy way out.
Okay, yeah, I can see it.
Your love now. 'Cause for all we know, we might be dead by tomorrow. I can't go on wasting my time, adding scars to my heart. 'Cause all I hear is I'm not ready now.
You were always one of us. From day one.
Every one of them is a variant clone of the protagonist.
Oh yeah, I can definitely see why you had I Think I'm a Clone
What if
now
deciding,
playing in your head.
making choices was never anything more than just an illusion?
What's in your heart? But if you're not ready,
Also, I get their
making it
use of that
about
word of the
yourself.
word title, alter.
Just look at us.
I can be ready.
I just wanted to find a way out.
'Cause soon enough we'll die. 'Cause soon enough we'll die. 'Cause soon enough we'll die.
But we have now. One of the things I remember talking about with regarding Indie Quest is there's been a lot of cynics who look at the whole thing and say, "Oh, it's just a bunch of Earthbound wannabes." But admittedly, the Backworld, which wasn't showcased at Indie Quest, is definitely channeling Earthbound.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That battle screen is just straight out of Earthbound. Not to mention the music.
That sort of carrying the torch is just going to happen. So I've got no problem with it.
Me neither.
But next is one project that a full-on gameplay trailer was dropped earlier on today, actually. That being The Blood of Dawnwalker, made by some of the people who left CDPR, and specifically left the Witcher side of CDPR to do their own thing. Even calling their studio Rebel Wolves as a nice little nod.
Monsters have always been here, watching from the shadows. And when we were at our weakest, they came out into the light. We feared for our lives. We should have feared for our souls instead. The vampires didn't come to kill us. No, they came to rule. to turn us into mindless, docile cattle.
So, I did look a little bit into that gameplay demo that dropped today.
Yeah.
It's not using the exact same combat setup as The Witcher, though there is some DNA. It's far more direction-based in terms of both attacking and blocking.
I see.
Not me, though. They tried to change me into one of them. But I became something else instead. Their worst nightmare. A Dawnwalker. Trapped between the two worlds. Fighting to even the score. Fighting to understand the evil behind it all.
He is out there watching, seeping into you, growing.
It'll be interesting to see how they pull what they're trying to do off. But at least it'll be out as opposed to The Witcher 4, which I don't even know if that's going to be out in 2026.
Considering how badly CDPR has been dragging their feet, yeah.
Well, that and antagonizing people who were like, why is Ciri acting like a Witcher?
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
when you antagonize your consumer base, that's when you immediately lose me.
Mm-hmm. But next up is the Bornless, which I guess people are dying to get into.
Welcome to Farmers Island, traveler. We hope you enjoy your stay.
A bit too much asking for an old beat up in an abandoned Waffle House in a game like this.
Waffle House has had several offers and rejected all of them.
Yep. Same goes for Tekken. Same goes for being a stage in Tekken. Tommy gun!
0 out of 10, it didn't jam enough.
Wait, you play as a Wicker Man?
Looks like you can, along with other kinds of cryptids.
Yeah.
Thanks for visiting Farmers Island. We hope you're dying to come back.
I should hate that pun. I really should.
So should I.
Approved.
But next is what I was talking about earlier. Owlcat Games, the people behind things like Rogue Trader and the Pathfinder duology, are now tackling The Expanse. which Sick always right. Which is an interesting move since the Expanse is far more hard sci-fi than many of their previous work.
We gonna find out about your Kopang right quick, okay?
Clearly.
Just wanted to do him justice. Stuck his neck out for us. Least we can do is get him out alive.
We've got big enough guns to make justice, all right?
Oh, Michael. To a man with a hammer, just about everything looks like a nail.
In for show. Time to say oh yeah with our hammer.
Missile range in 1 minute.
Brace yourselves. We're going for a spin.
Damn. Literally went for a spin. I respect it.
Touch your heels for gravity to work.
Zafar, did you get a signal?
After the large haul down this corridor, they shut down this part of the facility. Long time before our arrival.
Fine. Let's deal with those guys first.
I guess that's one way to get around how to do a smoke grenade in 0G. Or at the very least low
In
G.
your loader. They never look up. Zafar, you were right. They shut down this.
Wait!
I need backup.
Hold on, I'm coming!
I'll cover you.
Well, I think we know who's our tank.
Yeah. Especially with that big ass riot
The bird
shield.
up high shall be thine eyes.
And a bit of drone warfare to boot.
What the hell happened here? Hey, buddy.
Ooh, nice.
This is when you don't do drugs, kids.
Exactly.
Glad you're still breathing.
You know, it would be funny as hell if this ends up doing Mass Effect better than Mass Effect.
Right?
Then again, given the state of BioWare, not like that's hard.
No.
But next is an interesting type of city builder that is focused on vision, known as The King is Watching.
I feel like there has been a distinct lack of epic space operas.
Yeah, there's been a few here and there, but I will never say no to more. And it's clear that this is gonna. I don't expect to see any release date announcement for this Expanse project for at least a year. It's clear it's still really early on, and Owlcat's more focused on Dark Heresy for the immediate future. But there have been a few. But I don't think there hasn't been one. I know that there's one other space opera that's being worked on called Exodus, but that's being co-published by Wizards of the Coast, so fuck it.
Agreed.
They also made a big deal about how it's having an associated TTRPG. And imagine my lack of surprise that it's just a 5e hack. Not even a good 5e hack.
Gasp.
So when that comes out, I just say, if you want a sci-fi 5e hack,
Say it ain't so.
just go play Farsight. We're covering that on Fridays.
Yeah. Also, regarding that, Monk, this is my response.
Which is
Anyway.
why when I found out that a bunch of the top guys over at WotC ended up jumping ship to Darrington, I was like, oh no! Anyway.
Exactly.
But continuing on.
Oh!
Goblin. With an ice cream bar. A bastard. All that for one soldier.
Yeah. With a popsicle, actually.
Yes! Hello, guys.
Oh shit.
We had the pleasure of teaming up with the creators of The King is Watching for this video. It's a roguelite city builder with a really unique twist. You control everything with your eyes. Your units only work where you're looking, so you constantly have to adapt to the next threat. And honestly,
Also, who's giving off echo?
Each run lets you upgrade your king, so you can get stronger and more efficient over time. Unexpected events will keep shaking things up too, like making sure every session feels fresh and different. There's a free demo right now, actually, you can try. So go check it out. Super fun.
But
that should hopefully fix it.
But next up is the Lonesome Guild. Which just reminds me about how robbed we were that we didn't get that Mouse Guard movie.
Yeah.
But Lonesome Guild here gives me a lot of vibes of Crystal Chronicles, and you'll see why. Of course, I'm not surprised that Don't Nod is publishing this.
Yeah, that tracks.
But next up is Toa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree.
I trust you have seen it. A beautiful world where harmony reigns. Will you struggle until your last fleeting moment? Your destinies are sealed. There There is no escaping them.
That is why we must end you. Right here and now.
On your guard.
This is gorgeous. Take this.
A co-op Hades, perhaps?
I'm just getting started.
I'm down with that.
Put it into action.
The surge of power. Savor each moment.
Now, get ready. Everyone, are you with me?
We will live on in this world. No matter what hardships await.
That's a big fish.
We fight for a future filled with hope.
This seems charming.
Toa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree.
And it's heading to us in September. Nice. Next is a case of me reminding everyone that shmups are my catnip with the Trouble Witches game.
Ah.
It is definitely a bullet hell, but there's at least some way to survive the insanity.
So colorful. And there's so much shit on screen. I want it.
It does look like there's a bit of weapon switching. Next is the alpha test trailer for Vindictus Defying Fate, which I have been keeping a passive eye on for at least the last few months. Of course, the great enemy is furries.
Yeah.
You missed, bitch.
What better weapon to hit you with than a pillar?
We're murdering Furus. Gotcha.
So, next is a developer log for Voin, which I have played on stream before. Voin is really damn good, and I can best describe it as playing a Lightning Knight. Though it looks like we're teasing other elements, and I like that the developer is not taking himself too serious.
Hi everyone, I'm Nikita, and for the past year and a half, I've been cooking. Take a look.
I keep being told you can't do good melee combat in first person, and I keep showing that's where you're wrong.
Exactly.
Voin is a first-person hack and slash with RPG elements set in open world-like levels. The game is about you being an unstoppable force of nature that wields metal as its weapon. The world is broken, and you are its reckoning. You kill monsters, you get loot, which is the game's bread and butter. And instead of affixes that plainly increase random stats, I decided to focus only on impactful stuff that actually changes the way you play. For example, you might find a hammer called Bellring.
That kind of impactful stuff, not far removed from how I was designing feats for Legend Edition. I wanted to avoid number go up kind of effects.
Which summons ghostly bells that, when hit, damage everyone around. Or another example, which I also like a lot, a really powerful scythe that literally tears reality as you swing, leaving scars that emanate freezing aura. Or should I say, a cool aura. No, I shouldn't say that. But guess what? You can also combine those two items into one. Find the symbiosis station at the hub, read the instructions carefully, please, and boom, you have dual wakizashis that poison everyone and summon fire tornadoes. That's a thing. But enough of that. Let's get to the next exciting thing. In the last major update, Thunderborn, I added a huge dungeon underneath the Cathedral of Veiled Lament. Now though, I'm working on the game's next major update called Permafrost. It features a new, absolutely massive new location, the Athenium of Thousand Names. Snow-covered mountains, ice giants, perpetual blizzards. This place does not offer a warm welcome. Not at all. One of the other major features of this update is proper character progression. Finally, journey into the Hall of Reflection and find the new Tree of Talents. Yes, your talent tree is an actual tree. And not only
Hey,
that, well,
at least we can chill in there just fine.
And yes, your talent tree is a literal tree. Why didn't anyone think of this sooner?
exploring, you'll be finding soul fruits, which you can attach to the tree and gain various bonuses. For example, the ability to sprint. And you can already play the talent tree update right now. Anyway, the game is shaping up great, and there are a lot more super exciting things coming. For example, a completely new character, completely new weapon types, spears, daggers, and more, and even quests. Alright guys, that's it from me. Thank you very much, and see you next time.
Blizzard kept it short and precise.
But next up is what I would describe as a city builder wearing the skin of a MOBA and going ridiculous. We will be gods. I know it looks like a MOBA, but we learned our lesson from last time. Looks can be deceiving. Because last I checked, MOBAs don't have base building. It also looks like there isn't any MP setup, it's all cooldowns.
which we're good enough here, we could probably spam spells all day.
You probably could, but I think you're gonna have bigger problems. But next is a project known as Wildlands of Feanora, which feels like what would happen if Breath of Fire and Lufia had a kid. Especially with this whole formation setup the game seems to have.
Yeah, and the 2D aesthetic.
Formation kind of reminds me of Ogre Battle 64.
Unfortunately, you do not possess Lordly Caliber.
Roguelite tactical RPG, that's a first.
Now, the last one is the winner of I nor nobody else saw this coming. And that is Wu-Tang Rise of the Deceiver. Yeah. A Wu-Tang gang in 2025. We haven't had one since the PS1 days.
With that weird ass
Wu-Tang
roller.
Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
Yep. But I guess we're getting one now.
They're out there. All
Gotta rescue them. This is what we gotta protect. We cannot choose when people's dreams get snatched up out
find
here.
Inspector Death, find Rizzo, find Master Kill, find Jill, find Method, find Rico, you find Kevin, find Ghostface Killer.
Where is the Wu-Tang Clan?
Find them.
And obviously just a teaser, but the fact that this is even a thing threw a lot of people off guard.
Sure, one of my regular customers would actually like this because whenever I deliver to his house, he actually has a sign like "Presidents are forever, but Wu-Tang is forever."
Ah, nice.
But with that said, that is more or less the wrap up of this particular adventure through more games than most people know how to shake a stick at.
Exactly.
So with that in mind, I'd like to at least give the newcomers to this kind of thing their space for their thoughts on the whole process and the 120 games that got showcased in this.
Well,
here's a pro tip: go to the bathroom before sitting down.
That's rule number 1, dude.
Anyway, honestly, that's what happens when several different showcases happen in quick succession of one another.
But Maki, what
also
did
kind of like? Well, one thing that I definitely appreciate from all these indie showcases is that there's a lot of talent out there outside the usual companies like Capcom, Nintendo.
Maki, what did you happen to think of the smorgasbord of games we ended up covering over this week and last week.
Honestly, that one was quite amusing. A bunch of games I either heard of or have seen, but a bunch I had no clue about, and will definitely be interested in taking a closer look for.
Whenever someone ventures into new territory in this sort of thing, it's in those moments that I feel I've done my job.
I like that sort of format, as watching and yapping is one of my favorite way of doing content so far.
And I certainly do a fair bit of that and a fair bit more of yapping. But I will note, hopefully I won't have to split this into 2 or, God help me, 3 parts next year. But I will be doing the Hangover Shitshow again later this year, probably for either Gamescom or the Tokyo Game Show. So I think those are still on the horizon. Let me check when Gamescom happens.
Let me check when TGS happens.
So Gamescom is going to be in August. I think TGS is afterwards. I think TGS is going to be
Late
in
September, 25th to the 28th.
Yeah, I kind of figured, because doing both of them in the summer would be a terrible idea.
Yeah.
But that being said, next week, if everything goes as planned, I will be doing the victory lap stream I had planned to do 2 weeks ago for the feature complete launch of Legend Edition. Because yeah, there's still some things to be ironed out, but the fact that it's even in the state that it's in after 4 years speaks volumes, in my opinion.
Well, most certainly.
It's especially funny that I ended up doing an interview about it on Free RPG Day of all days.
What are the odds?
Fate is not without a sense of irony. But that will do it for now. Because of the heat wave going on, it's up in the air whether or not I'm going to be doing demo grab bag or any game streaming later tonight. If I am, I will make the announcements as usual. If not, it's probably too damn hot to do that, or I'm just too damn overheated.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to thank you all for coming on to this. I do hope that when I do one of these again, possibly for Gamescom, I hope to see you all again for that. And I guarantee that one won't be a 2-parter.
Oh yeah.
But with that said, as always, a sincere thanks to everyone who took the time out of their schedule to come onto the show and enjoy the madness. And there'll be plenty more where that came from, as there always is here, on the open bar of the internet. But until then, on behalf of the good brothers present and not present, my name is Mildra. I am your gaming monk. Stay fucking frosty, everybody.
Shitshow.